Welcome to this video which takes a look at monitoring physical span or mirror ports with a virtual LANGuardian. My name is Darragh Delaney, I'm Head of Technical Services here at Netfort. So let's take a look at the deployment concepts first. So you may have one or more physical switches out on your network and you want to set up a span or mirror port. Now, span or mirror ports are a really good way of getting visibility as they allow you to take a copy of data that's transversing through that switch. But what if you don't have a server available and you want to deploy LANGuardian as a virtual machine? Well, it's fairly straightforward. What you need to do is patch a cable from your physical switch through to the ESX server. Now you do need to dedicate a network card to this, so I'm using VM-NIC0 here. So you patch that through, and internally within the ESX server, we're going to set up monitoring so that the traffic coming in on this network card can be seen by the LANGuardian. So again, you've got a dedicated network card, and then it's just a matter of configuring the virtual environment to pass that traffic through. So stage one is to get your cabling set up, get your patch cable through to the ESX server, note the port that you've connected that cable to, and now we move on to the next stage. So the first stage to getting LANGuardian installed on your virtual environment is to download a free trial of our software at www.netfort.com. Click on the Download Now button. You've got three options: an ISO, VMware Appliance, or a USB image. Now, while there is a VMware Appliance pre-built here, I would always recommend going for the ISO image. You get a lot more control over the resource allocation. So click on the Download option, fill in your details, and click Submit. Store the ISO file somewhere on your PC or laptop because you need to upload that to your virtual server. So let's go there now. So this is my ESX server. So before I can do anything, I need to upload that ISO file. So select the server, go across the configuration, and in storage here, pick one of your data stores, browse. The option here at the top allows you to upload a file. So just select that, select the file, click on open, and that file will upload. Now I already have it uploaded there. I can see it, that ISO that I downloaded. Now the next thing we need to do before we start installing LANGuardian is to set up that bridge between the physical network and the virtual network. So we click on networking here and we click on add networking. So we're going to go here for virtual machine. We create a new virtual switch. Let's click on next. We'll give it a name. So just going to call it monitoring switch. Let's click next and finish. Now let's scroll down here. So I've got my virtual switch set up. I'll just click on properties here, network adapters. And actually it's automatically added that physical adapter. So VM-NIC0 is actually a physical adapter. That's the one that goes back to my core switch where I have got the mirror port set up. So that's correct. If you've got the wrong network adapter there, just click remove, click on add, and just select whatever adapter that you want to add to this monitoring switch. So on this monitoring switch, just go back into properties. Next thing to do is add a port group. So just click the add button, select virtual machine. Going to call this the monitoring port group and give it VLAN ID 4095. Select next, finish. And that monitoring port group that you just set up, you just click on edit again and go to security and just enable promiscuous mode. Promiscuous mode allows us to capture packets that are flowing across this switch. Just go OK to that. So that's now set up. So our virtual networking infrastructure is now ready to have LANGuardian installed into it. So just close that. And now let's build the LANGuardian. So we right click here, we go new virtual machine. So it just starts up the wizard. Typical is fine. Give it a name. Click next. Select the data store. Just go with the first one is fine. Select Linux, and from the drop down select CentOS. Or in this it's actually an older version of ESX. Other Linux 64-bit is fine. Click next. Virtual disk size, we'll give it a bit more, 12 gigabytes. Next. Finish. So we have a LANGuardian machine here now. Now before we boot it up, we do need to do a few more things with this. So let's go back into the... Let's go back in here again. Just wait for it. Edit settings. So we've got 384 megabytes of memory. It's a bit low. We're going to up that there to 2 gigs. Single CPU. I have limited CPUs on this ESX host, so a single CPU is fine. Now I've got one network adapter here, and that's connected to my office management network. That's where all my servers are. That's fine for network adapter 1, but I do need to add a second network adapter. So select Ethernet adapter. Next. The network label, you gotta select the monitoring port group here. Okay, so you can also change the adapter type if you want, but select the monitoring port group. Next to finish. This is ESX4 and ESX5. This looks a little different, but the concepts remain the same. 2 network cards, one in your regular management network, and the second one in your monitoring port group that you set up earlier on. Just OK that. And sorry, one other thing to do in there. Go back into edit settings. I've also got to select the CD or DVD. Select the option for data store ISO. Go browse. Go to your data store. Select the ISO. OK. Just make sure that's connected with power on. OK that. And now we can power up this LANGuardian. Change here to console view. And let's wait for it to boot up. Now, if you get messages at this point around trying to get a DHCP IP address, that suggests that you don't have the ISO mapped to the DVD drive, or it's not set to connect at boot up. So go back in and check them settings. It's booting up something here, so it looks good. It's booting up the LANGuardian installation. So just got to wait now for the wizard so we can go give it an IP address. So here we go. So sure you want to continue, type yes. There's one disk available, just type in 1 and return. So you sure you want to continue, yes. So very important at this point, select Ethernet or network adapter number 1. That's going to be used for management. And we'll give it an IP address. Subnet mask. A gateway address. Finally, a DNS server. And return. So again, it just says, are you sure you want to install? Yes. And now it's installing LANGuardian. And I'm doing everything here in real time, so it's a very, very quick and easy install. Pretty much for the install, you just need to give it an IP address and pick a disk, and it just installs the software. It does everything for you. Now I'm waiting next for it'll prompt me if you want to reboot, so we're not ready yet to log on to the console. We've got to reboot next and wait for it to come back up. So at this point now we can just press restart and it'll go reboot. You can leave this console open here. It's going to reboot. When it's rebooted, it'll come up with a prompt telling you to go to the web console, because at this point you're finished at the console. All the other configuration bits are done using our web front end. So the boot up is now complete. I can see the console message here, which tells me to go to the web interface. So just press Control Alt to get out of my console, and I'm going to go to a browser. So just put in the IP address that you've assigned. Press return. You got an error here first time you log on, just to add the exception for the security cert. And I'll get to complete the install using this wizard. So just tick that box here to agree with the licensing terms. Go next. Check the network settings to look fine. Just next. Emails, sorry, just back one there. If you have a proxy server, just fill in the details there. Let's move on to email. I'll leave as the default. System clock is next. So I'm going to go with the NTP server. That's fine. Next up, I need to set a GUI password. Now, I gotta have a minimum of 7 characters. Just wait while it sets the time. So here we go to set the administrator password. Just click on next. Now, if you have AD, Active Directory on your network, now's the time to set it up. Put in a user.com password and IP address of the domain controller. I'm going to skip it, though it's not. Again, it's recommended you do set it up at this point. Going to go now to this, check the sensor status. So it's telling me link is up and we're getting spam traffic, so that's good. Click finish. And we can now log on to the LANGuardian. At this point, it should be monitoring the traffic that's coming in from your physical switch. Best to leave it running a couple of minutes before you start running reports. But let's take a look at it ourselves. So I've got to reports, all events. Pick any of these ones here. I just want to check if I'm picking up any. So I'm picking up here already Dropbox on the network, so that looks good. Seems to be up and running. Let's just check a few more things. Go to reports, traffic distribution. Just run this report here. Yeah, it's going to take a couple of minutes for the data to appear. But you can also do other ones like reports, top websites. Let's take a look. So yeah, so I'm starting to see some websites appear in here. That looks good. If you've got file shares on your network, you can check that here. So usually within 10-15 minutes you start to see some usable data. You can see usernames, IP addresses, start to drill down and really get to see and understand what is happening on your network. So that's the basics of getting LANGuardian installed on your virtual environment where you want to monitor your physical network switches.